Turning to pills or shots has become a new trend in the battle to lose weight. A new book looks at drugs like Ozempic that are transforming weight loss.
Author and journalist Johann Hari used Ozempic himself and talked to leading health experts about the pros and cons of weight loss drugs. He shares it all in Magic Pill, the extraordinary benefits and disturbing risks of the new weight loss drug. And Johann joins us now. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Hey, Larry. Hey, Robin. Great to be with you.
Great to be. So you used Ozempic how long ago and how did it work for you?
I started about a year ago. The minute I learned about these drugs, I felt so conflicted because, I'm older now than my grandfather ever got to be because he died of a heart attack when he was 44. I knew that being obese as I was harming my health. But I also thought, we've seen this story before. Every 20 years or so, a new diet drug is announced. We're all told it's a miracle. It always causes some health disaster and gets pulled from the shelves. So to understand this, I started using it myself. And I went on this big journey all over the world to interview the leading experts to really look at the pros and cons to figure out how we should think about it. For me, it was amazing with some significant drawbacks. I mean, I lost a huge amount of weight, 42 pounds. I got much healthier. I'm much less worried about the risk to my heart. And it's a really weird feeling, Robin, when you take it. I'll never forget a couple of days after I started taking it, just waking up and lying in bed and thinking, I feel something really weird. What is it? And it took me like 5 minutes to figure out. I'd woken up and I wasn't hungry. That had never happened to me before. So there's real benefits you feel straight away.
But haven't been using this for a long time. So is there any discussion about what a long-term negative impact might be?
Yeah, I'm really worried about this. There's 12 big risks that I go through in the book, and I would really urge everyone who's thinking of taking these drugs to go through the advantages and the risks, and they're quite broad. Some scientists think it may increase your risk of thyroid cancer. There's real worries about pregnant women. We know when you give it to rats, they're more likely to have birth deformities in their babies. I'm really worried about young girls with eating disorders getting hold of these drugs. And then there's just, like you say, Larry, because no one's been taking them very long, we don't know the long-term effects. But really what you have to weigh, for someone like me anyway, realistically, I would have continued being obese, right? I had been obese most of my adult life. For me, what I had to weigh, and this is not an easy calculation, is the risks of continuing to be obese, which we know cause over 200 diseases and complications, and the risks of these drugs. And there's no kind of simple calculator you can pull out. I think people really need to go down the list that I write about in the book and really see, well, which of these apply to me?
Yeah.
Right, but it's one of those things, too, much like any diet. I'm sure if you've been through this on this cycle before,
so many times
you go off of it and you gain weight back, or what was the concern about that, and how has that worked out for you?
The biggest concern for me, there's so many things that I go through in the book, but actually the biggest thing for me was slightly different. For the first 6 months I was taking the drug, I was losing loads of weight, and I actually weirdly did not feel better in my own mind. Actually, I felt slightly worse. And thinking, why would that be? And this seems to be happening to a significant minority of people. And I think it's because some people think it's this because the drugs work on your brain and there's a brain effect. There's a real risk of that I go through. But I actually think for me, it was something much more basic. Since I was a little boy, one of the ways I coped with being anxious or upset was by numbing myself with overeating, right? KFC in particular was my favorite antidepressant. And you just can't comfort eat when you're on these drugs. You would throw up if you overate. So I think one of the things people need to really be prepared about if they're thinking of taking these drugs is these drugs profoundly interrupt your eating patterns. And what that does is it brings to the surface the deep underlying psychological drivers of your eating. I go through 5 psychological drivers of eating in the book. They'll be playing out for loads of people watching. Now, that can be a good thing. If you bring them to the surface, you can start to deal with them in a healthier way. But that is a bumpy transition. And I've got to admit, it was painful for me.
What does this mean for the general economy, and what does this mean for the food industry?
I mean, it's massive. Barclays Bank commissioned a very sober-minded analyst to look into these drugs to guide their future investment. She came back and said, if you want a comparison for what the effect this is going to have on the economy, you've got to look at the invention of the smartphone. I mean, in dozens of ways, this is going to transform the world around us for better and for worse. To give you an example of just one, the airlines just had a major financial report saying they're going to have to spend a lot less money on jet fuel soon because it takes so much less jet fuel to fly a thinner population. And 47% of Americans want to take these drugs. It's not hard to see why. The average person who takes Ozempic or Wegovy loses 15% of their body weight. For the next class in this drug, what will be available next year, the average person loses 24% of their body weight.
Wow.
And the stakes here, I mean, my prediction is that half the country will be using these drugs 10 years from now.
Wow.
And provided one of the 12 big risks that I warn about in the book don't turn out to be like explosive like they have with some
Right.
previous diet drugs like fen-phen in the 90s, I'm very worried about that. But the stakes here are so high. Obesity is by many measures the biggest killer in this country, way more than, say, gun crime, dreadful though that is. This is a tool. It's a deeply imperfect tool. I'm worried about lots of elements of it. But you asked Larry quite rightly about the food industry. The food industry has undermined our ability to ever feel full. It has pumped us and our kids full of foods that undermine our satiety, our feeling of fullness. I had never felt full until I took these drugs, right? And what these drugs do in this very imperfect way is give you back that sense of fullness. But it's like, the way I think of it is like we're in a trap, and there's this kind of slightly risky, rusty trapdoor. And it's like, we should never have been put in this trap. We can change the way we live now so our kids don't grow up in this trap. And I talk about how we can do that. And I went to countries that have done that, like Japan. But for now, we've all got to make a decision. The more than 70% of us who are overweight or obese in this country are going to have to make a decision. We need to make as informed a decision as possible. And I really hope going through the pros and cons in a balanced way and thinking deeply about this will help people. That's what I've tried to do in my book, Magic Pill.
All right. Well, the book is Magic Pill, as you heard, and you can get more at Johan's website or follow him on social media. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, what a pleasure. Thanks so much.
All right, take care. 9:20.